Hey Ringside crew, welcome to the internationally known Dudes at Ringside Podcast. And now here's your host, Joe Panther III. Welcome to the internationally known Dudes at Ringside Podcast.
Hello there, wrestling
Now here's your
fans, and welcome
Joe
to another
Panther III.
episode of the internationally known Dudes at Ringside Podcast. I am Joe Panther III, and today we have a lot of voices going on here. Oh, geez.
Welcome to another episode.
Oh boy, a lot of voices here. But still, we got a fun guest today. We have Zoey here back on the podcast. So, Zoey, what's going on? You're back, and we're all having fun here, Dudes at Ringside.
I am actually here to talk about the upcoming event for DAWG Pro Wrestling that is Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators. And I actually had to write it down because I could never remember what the A stood for, no matter how many times I've said it. This event is happening tomorrow, Saturday, September. See what kind of a day it is? It's been a very long day. But this event is happening tomorrow, September 28th. 2024 in Riverton, New Jersey.
Wow, Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
So you're excited for your match? What's going through your mind? I know most wrestlers have everything all set in stone. Okay, I'm going to be doing this. So what is your day? Do you have your bags packed for the show already? Or do you have know what you're gonna wear, everything all set and everything?
Mostly. So my match tomorrow is actually against the reigning worldwide Grand Prix women's champion Valerie Vermin for DAWG Pro Wrestling, and I have my official debut for this company against her. And what a better opponent! I've seen Val a couple different times throughout my career. I faced her at WDWA in West Virginia. We've worked in the same locker room at Bell to Bell out of Paulsboro, New Jersey. We actually wrestled for the same event for Bell to Bell at the 2300 Arena in Philly.
Wow.
She is quite the competitor. And because I've seen her so many times, we've crossed paths a few different times, I have a pretty good idea of what to expect. But of course, with Val Vermin, you never know what to expect. She is one of my favorite opponents.
Yeah, she's an interesting character. She doesn't if she's watching, she's gonna be like, I don't cheat. She does certain things, certain tactics. Mm-hmm. Are you ready, Zoey, for everything under the sun? Have you been doing your practice? I know you I always see you in the ring doing your practices. Are you ready for an interesting match from Valerie Vermin? I know.
I think I'm ready. As long as her boyfriend Samwell stays out of my way, I should be in smooth sailing.
If I was able to get a ride and not have to get the Panther family to travel me to the show, I would definitely be in your corner that fine Sunday in the Jers.
Well, it's supposed to be a really good event. So this is the first time that DAWG is actually wrestling at the Sacred Heart Church in Riverton, New Jersey on 4th Street. And it's supposed to be, just a stellar event overall. But for a new venue, a debut for me, a championship match, you can't go wrong. So I'm excited.
Yeah. It's just crazy. Most people know their opponent and know the match they're doing. So do you have anything packed yet? Do you have any of your do you know what gear you're wearing tomorrow, or do you have it do you know, or is it sometimes sporadic?
Well, I'm probably gonna wear my blue and gold gear. That's been my favorite one for a little while now. I've only had 2 sets of gear in my career, and this is my newest one and my favorite. So I'm probably going to wear that one. I got pretty much everything packed. I'm ready to roll. I'm just going over in my head how I can manage to hopefully come out on top for this one. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. And my blue coat I wear to the shows would match perfect with your outfit. It'd be kind of it'd be matchy.
They're fun colors.
It'd be like the TikTok. It'll be like, Oh, come on. No, one of us got to change. Yeah.
Val's probably going to wear pink. That is her favorite color.
Oh, yeah. You should come out with a pink boa and then just throw it off and throw it down. Step on it. Like 15
I mean,
times.
Spirit Halloween's open. I could.
Yeah. It's like most people I know get you a discount. You just give a little donation and probably get like a $5 or $10 discount, you know.
It would be nice.
Yeah. So who made your gear?
That gear was ordered by an old friend from California. He is an excellent gear maker. He does a lot of lucha gear. He has made gear for people that I wrestled with, and it comes out so good every time. He's quick, he's professional, and I love it. I love it. Like there are so many gear makers, especially on the East Coast, that they're so busy because this industry is just booming. And between WWE, AEW, NXT, this show on the indies, that show on the indies, there's so many gear makers. But I like my guy.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So now, like, it's like, as we were talking about before, you've grown since the last time I had you on this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
You don't realize it to me yourself, but I feel like you've grown within yourself. Like, have you looked back to you, like, when you first started to now? Like,
yes. So when I first came on the podcast, I can't remember if it was right before my official wrestling debut or right after, but I want to say it was right before. That match was in April of 2023, and it was myself and Clara Carreras versus Journey Burke and Harleen Lopez for Three Legacies Wrestling. And I love that match. It was so much fun. I watch it back all the time. Since then, I have wrestled for quite a few different companies. Aside from Three Legacies Wrestling, which is my home promotion, I wrestle a lot for Bell to Bell out of New Jersey, which is an all-women's company. It's female referees, female commentary, female wrestlers, a female owner, Missy Sampson from the Monster Factory. She is amazing. She's doing wonders for the women in this industry. And then I had just a little mini spot on Major League Wrestling against Janai Kai. That was back in February of this year. So,
wow.
So many different things.
I had the owner of Bell to Bell on the podcast last year. She's such an awesome person. Like, I loved everything we talked about. What an awesome person. And shout out to Bell to Bell. I'm so half Italian. I was like, Bella to Bell. And she was like, Bella to Bell, Joe? I was like, that's what it seemed like to me. Don't hurt me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Missy Sampson is doing so many great things for the women in this industry. And normally when you think of professional wrestling and you think of it as a men's sport, although true, there is a certain section that is just booming for the women in this industry. For that particular company, their next event is happening at the end of November, right after Thanksgiving on November 30th. And that's called Jingle Bells, where I am actually facing one of their homegrown referees. Her name is Ruby. She's been my referee for a few matches now. We don't get along. I tried to talk to her. Things went a little south. So now I actually have a match with her for that next event. And I'm very excited for that one too. That will be her debut. And even though she's been a referee for quite some time, she's a Monster Factory student, which in itself already means that she's going to the top. So I'm excited to see that. I'm excited for tomorrow. I'm excited for Three Legacies Wrestling's next event, which is October 26th at Millersville University. There's so much going on.
It sounds like, Zoe, you got a lot. Girl, I'm so proud of you. Like, I have a
calendar somewhere.
It's so cool. Like, it may sound like I'm just a fan. Oh, the doctor's here. He's welcome. He's here. Welcome.
Thank you. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna have to be back. I'm having audio issues, so give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
I'll let you back in. I'll be back. Yeah. So, my gosh, like I'm just a fan here, but as being a
We're all
person
fans, though.
we're all fans here, but
You got to be a fan.
For me, watching you do this and watching you on Instagram since I had you on last year, Zoey, it's beautiful to see a young lady like you grown into yourself and grown into this character. Have you seen people that when you first started, the fans that to your rise now, the way you've changed?
Yes and no. There are people that have certainly made my whole career just start to kind of skyrocket. Notably, I started training with Al Snook from Three Legacies Wrestling. He started about a week before I did. And even though he speared me at my last Three Legacies Wrestling event after my match, he has helped me grow substantially. Just Jay has helped me grow. My trainer, Jesus Rodriguez, has helped me grow. There have been so many different opportunities that have just blossomed because of this industry.
Yeah, that's something to say. Like with promotions like DAWG and Three Legacy and like I live in PA. This stronghold in Pennsylvania in the tri-state area right now with independent wrestling from PPW to the promotion you're on your t-shirt to Office in Office promotion over there. They're doing their Battlefield, they're doing their show on Sunday, the Rumble. Man, it's hard to say that if you're watching wrestling and you just go to the WWEs and the AEW, it's not like that's a bad thing. Most people like to watch the big wrestling. But I always tell my friends that don't watch and they just watch WWE, have you ever gone to an independent wrestling show? They're like, no, you talk about so much, Joe. I'm like, because it's fun. Independent wrestling is booming since COVID. I've really seen a rise within the posters and the way they promote themselves. And now there is podcasts out there like the dudes at Ringside and Hard and Soft and all my friends from the UK. Shout out to my buddies out there, my buddy from Scotland. Like what we're doing, we're helping you guys get your shows out there. So, yeah. So, Lawrence, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm sorry. I was having audio issues at first.
No, it's okay. If my internationally known audience is not familiar with you, introduce yourself.
I'm Dr. Lawrence Zirconium, the owner of Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiator, South Jersey's #1 wrestling promotion. So that's why I am the voice behind DAWG, except for obviously I don't do the commentary, I don't do the ring announcing. But whenever you hear any podcast or anybody announcing or promoting this, it's usually me.
Awesome. So how did you get into this business?
I started off as a young fan who would go to wrestling. My uncle would bring me to the WWF and my brother would bring me to NWA events. And then I started going to independent wrestling events and doing whatever I needed to do to help out just to be involved. I was setting up chairs. I was helping with the ring. I was helping put out flyers. I was eventually working for a guy who had his own little newsletter. And I would start writing for that under various different pseudonyms and then sell them at the different wrestling events. I was always enthralled. My brother used to bring me to everything in the tri-state area that was within driving distance, whether it was a North Jersey, South Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, anything we can get to, he was taking me to when we were seeing things like the original Tri-State Wrestling Alliance. And we were at many promotions' very first event. Wrestling, their very first time they ever ran, we went to the tiniest little events in underneath an awning in a campground where there was 19 people there because it torrential downpoured. And I got to see Chris Canyon have one of his very first matches. Wow. I've seen a lot of wrestling, so I was always in love with it from the time being, and I wanted to be a professional wrestler. Unfortunately, I always wanted to be 6'9", 300 pounds, jacked up with blonde hair, blue eyes, and the next WWF champion. Never got over 5'7", but and I definitely wasn't jacked up, even though I was working out a lot. I was definitely not jacked up, and the only thing I had out of the whole thing was the blue eyes. So, but still, I was training. I started training to be a professional wrestler. I traveled down to Maryland to the wrestling school that was run by MEWF at the time. It was Lucifer and I can't remember the other guy, but they were running. And then I found a place closer when the CZW school opened up. And I started working out with John Zandig, but the real trainers were like John Dahmer, Reckless Youth, Jose Rivera Jr., who was a big name in Mexico, Angel and Bobby of East LA, who are still like some of my favorite people in the world. I had a wide variety of different people teach me absolutely everything. And because I was the smallest guy in every single wrestling practice, I learned how to take every single wrestling hold, whether I wanted to or not. Most of the time they grabbed it and hit me with it. But I learned how to take it all. So I wrestled all the time. I wrestled everywhere I can. I wrestled from Maryland down to North Carolina, everywhere in between. We would fit about 9 of us in a car that held safely 4 of us, and then go to a hotel room that had 1 bed and somehow fit us all in there. Or we would be at somebody's house and stay at somebody's house, whatever we could. We were wrestling everywhere, and was always we never went where it was just a few of us. It was always an entire car full, way more than legally should have been able to be in there, and safely even less so. But we would just make sure I would wrestle everywhere I can. I'd have multiple gimmicks. I would wrestle under a mask on one gimmick. I have a second mask gimmick if I needed it, and then I would wrestle my main gimmick, and I would wrestle all over. I blew out my knee in karate, so I was taking a little time off. And that's when I started doing some extra stuff like commentary. I was actually CZW's very first color commentator. I was the very first play-by-play man. I was pretty much doing both jobs in 2 different voices with 2 different gimmicks. So I was calling the match with myself as both the color commentator and the play-by-play man. And, I got a lot of praise on that. But when I had to get my reconstructed knee surgery, I was out for a little while. Things got moved on. So I ended up trying to come back. And then unfortunately, regular job happened, and I got hurt at the regular job. And I cracked my C4, C5, and C6, broke my neck, messed up my Achilles tendon, really did myself really dirty. I should have died, is the way I was told. And I was walking around angrily, throwing things around, not realizing how much pain I was in or how badly hurt I was, until I ended up getting to the hospital, and I found out that I broke my neck, and that kind of killed my wrestling career. When I got out of that, next thing I did was become a manager, and I started managing different wrestlers. The sensational one, Dirty Money, who just recently passed away, one of my favorite people in the world. Patch. We had a tag team called, it was a Sensational One and Divine One. We were called 1 in a Million, and I would manage them. And I would be Mercedes Martinez. I'd manage whoever they would put me in there with. I mean, I had my own people that I regularly traveled with, but also it got to the point where I was managing every heel, and I hated myself, let alone I'm sure the fans hated having to see me out there 3 or 4 times. But they kept putting me out there. And then one time while I was managing, they also didn't have a commentator, so I got on the mic and started doing color commentary while I was also managing. So I was a heel color commentator and managing in between. Not sure how we made that work, because I had to manage often, but we did it. So I started doing commentary too, and then commentary became something even though I did love managing, my neck was really starting to give me issues. Commentating was my favorite thing, but I always wanted to be a promoter. That was my ultimate end goal. Since I knew I wasn't going to be 6'9", jacked, 300-pound, blonde hair, blue-eyed WWF champion, my next goal was to be a promoter. So I wanted everything. I learned every single promoter, everything I could, and listened to Dennis Carluzzo, Larry Sharp, everybody who taught me, anybody who promotion I worked for, I listened and talked to and tried to give them ideas, to the point that they must absolutely hated me, because I know it drives me nuts when I have 20 people coming up with ideas how they could be the next champion. But I did everything I could to learn as much as I can from every single source. And then I started being a promoter with a different promoter. His name was Doc Diamond, and I was co-promoting with him. And of course, like all wrestling stories, he screwed me over and screwed me out of a whole lot of money. So I decided to start promoting on my own. And that's where Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators came from.
Awesome. So I have the poster and I have the graphic in my pictures. I didn't show it yet. I was waiting for you to show up. I was like, let me wait for him to wait for I would have showed it with Zoe here, but then I was like, let me just wait a little longer. Get more, have my fans in here, a little more fans in here. Like, boom, here we go. Here's the graphic for the show.
Event. DAWG doesn't run shows. Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators doesn't run shows. All other wrestling companies run shows. DAWG runs events.
Okay, the event.
Yes. And if you want to know the difference, make sure you're there on September 28th, this Saturday, at the Sacred Heart Church located at 103 4th Street in beautiful, historic Riverton, New Jersey, to find out why DAWG runs events and what the difference is.
So with this event on Saturday, so like Zoe already spoken, like let's talk about the rest of the card.
Okay. Actually, I would love to start with her match, because her match actually happened in special circumstances.
Okay.
The World Wrestling Grand Prix, DAWG is sanctioned by the World Wrestling Grand Prix. They're our sanctioning body, and they have different champions. And one of the champions is the World Wrestling Grand Prix Women's Champion, Valerie Verman. I tried booking Valerie Verman for this event, and she said, I'll think about it. And I never really heard nothing back from her. Then about, I don't know, a month or so ago, she goes, how are you having a wrestling event and Valerie Verman, the World Wrestling Grand Prix Women's Champion's not booked on it? And I said, I tried booking you on it and you were going to get back to me. And she goes, I don't remember that. There's no way that you could have the event at this thing with a new location without having me on the card. I am the best. I am the prettiest, and I have to be there. So she got booked. And then I asked around different places trying to find an opponent for her. And one of my good friends, Missy Sampson, who I absolutely adore. She's always been the nicest person from every moment I met her. She's always treated me amazingly. I asked her, I'm like, do you have any women wrestlers from the area that you think would make great opponents for Valerie? She's like, give me a minute. I have some people in mind. And next person she came back to me was Zoey Cannon. And Zoe stuck out to me because I believe I saw her at MLW. Well, am I correct? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And she impressed me at MLW. There's a lot of people in different wrestling companies that just do the same stuff and don't stand out. And Zoe stood out immediately when she asked me. So I'm like, perfect person. And I was happy ever since that this match is going to happen, because it's going to be an absolute amazing match. You could buy the entire seat, but you're only going to need the edge to see this encounter.
And Zoe's a good wrestler. She really throws down. She does a lot of stuff. Hey, I watched you get like karate kicked in the match in that clip. I was like, girl, ow. Mm-hmm. Like,
Janai Kai is no joke.
Yeah, but even that, like, she stood out. She was different. There's a lot of women wrestlers who are trying to emulate things they see, and they do the same stuff. And the one reason I was so happy when Missy suggested Zoe doesn't act or look or wrestle like every other girl. And that's another thing Valerie has. Valerie reminds me a lot of Missy Hyatt from the 1980s during her Eddie Gilbert time. But she is also so incredibly entertaining in the ring. The fans hate her so very much. They really, really, really do. And I don't think she gets that. I think she thinks they all are in love with her.
No.
But yeah, she is vilified by the fans of Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators. And now at the Sacred Heart Church this Saturday, when she's taking on Zoey Cannon, I have a feeling that building, hopefully it's packed. I'm doing everything I can to make sure it happens that way. We'll sit there and jeer and yell and scream for Zoey Cannon to take that World Wrestling Grand Prix Women's Championship from her.
Oh, but you got this podcast right now. How can the fans get their tickets if they're watching and they want to go to see some awesome action at this awesome event?
They're available at the door. They are $20, and they will be available for purchase. If you buy 4 or more, you'll also get a free poster. The one you see I have as my icon, and the one you showed earlier. You get one of those for if you buy 4 or more tickets too. So please, if you're listening to this, if you're within driving distance, this is the first time at a new venue. I wasn't sure when we were promoting where to put the posters. Like, I knew a lot of places I run often, and I knew exactly where, how to promote it. This is a new venue for a town that hasn't had really good wrestling in a very long time. It's small. It's out of the way. It's historic. It's old. Those buildings are older than every wrestler on the card, except for maybe Patch. But it's a really nice place. Very friendly town. Crazy. There's a train that runs through it, and every like 12 minutes. But other than that, there's like really nothing at all exciting happening in the town. And I want to bring this so all the fans can come see it. So if you are within driving distance, please share the poster, tell your friends, invite everybody you know. Make sure you are there, because the tickets are going to be worth every single penny. You're going to see the best wrestling action from top to bottom. It doesn't matter if you're 8 years old or 80 years old. It's all ages appropriate. We won't insult your intelligence, and you'll have a great time that you'll be able to enjoy with your entire family.
Yeah, that's the most important thing about independent wrestling. It's not only for the adults that watch the ECWs or the WCWs. It's for everybody. You can't just generalize a wrestling show or 18 or older, or this is just for kids. You should make it for everybody, from everybody. That's why I make this podcast about. I say this podcast is for the 41-year-olds that grew up with the Hogans and the Macho Mans, to the grandmas way past that watched the classy Freddie Blassies and the Killers Kowalskis, all the way down to the little kids that are just learning about professional wrestling. That's what I train my podcast is about. Everybody. Everybody. Yeah.
I remembered as a youngin', I was very young when I went to my first wrestling event, and seeing how those interactions were, and especially with the independents. Imagine going back in time and seeing Freddie Mercury and Queen for the first time in a small little venue, private little venue. First time, that you ever got to see them in live, and they were doing this small thing. Or Kiss, or White, or Rob Zombie, or Eminem, or anybody that you listen to. Imagine you catch them before they're stars. You're watching them develop their craft. You're watching them just perfect their showmanship and show everything and learn everything, and you're watching there along the ride. That's what's professional wrestling. You are right there by the action. You're not miles away at a nosebleed section in a big arena. You're right there in a small, intimate venue. That this one holds, I think, like 400 people. And boy, I hope there's 400 people there, by the way. Please, everybody, buy your tickets. But
yes, please.
but it is that you're right there. You feel the energy. You feel those wrestlers get slammed. When Patch chops somebody, it echoes through every single building we have like a shot going off. And you could hear and feel that. And it's such an adrenaline rush. The fans yell at the wrestlers. The wrestlers yell at the fans. The fans cheer for their favorites and boo the ones they hate the most. They're going to be cheering Zoey Cannon at the top of their lungs. And they're going to be booing Valerie Vermin so loudly we may shake the roof off the building. But I can't wait. And that's what you're going to experience at Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators.
I just hope, I really hope and pray that you guys get an atomic crowd. And just remember, this podcast, you guys, if you get clips from the show and future events, this is saying this now because I really love what you guys do over there in your promotion. And Dog, please don't forget to use the Ringside for the next time we do an event. I want to be able to help you promote it like this, have it show, bring one of your wrestlers. If Zoey wants to come back and help promote the next match, and you know what I always like to do? I've done this before, and it gets a lot of people's eyeballs. We could do a rivalry episode with like either Zoey and the next opponent that when she's champion, when she has the belt and she's all shining around the ring, like bring her back and with Glasgow with the title, with the title this time, and have her opponent and you, Doc, come on, and we could all promote this event even more, because I know in my heart a lot of independent wrestling doesn't really get the spotlights unless a podcast helps. Because nowadays, I remember as a kid, all I remember was posters. The internet is so difficult to manage and figure around, because where I live in Milford, Pennsylvania, if there's a wrestling show, I'm that kid looking for a poster. and I don't see a poster. And people are like, oh, there was a wrestling show here in December. Joe, you didn't see it? No. Like, you know what I mean, Doc? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I had 300 posters out. I have a few of them left, but I had 300 posters for this event, and they were put all over. Hopefully the rain we're having right now doesn't blow them off. We were put in stores. We were put in buildings. We were put in on everywhere they could. If there was an abandoned place that had traffic, I made sure, like an abandoned store that had traffic around it, I made sure there was a poster there. So I made sure most of the venues and things around there, the building, they were very friendly and very accommodating for me putting a poster up. There was only like one or two that gave me any issues. But if you're in Riverton, while I do one couple I want to recommend, there is an ice cream place that is not far from the venue. I hope it's open before the event starts. They make homemade ice cream.
Ooh.
And I got a chocolate chip cookie dough where the actual vanilla part had vanilla bean in it, and I've never had that in an ice cream before. And then the cookie dough was so gooey and so chocolatey and so cookie doughy. That's a word. And the whipped cream was, I think, homemade too, because it had that flavor of like fresh, real good whipped cream. And I wish I had 94 more scoops of it. I probably wouldn't be able to fit through the door at the. I probably wouldn't be able to fit through the door at the Sacred Heart Church for this Saturday's event. That's but it's so incredibly good. And there's also a really friendly coffee shop right next, like a few stores down from it.
Ooh.
And if I have time, there's a taco place I want to try out.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they're all within like 20 feet of each other. So I could get tacos, get ice cream, get coffee, and then probably never leave the bathroom for most of half the event, but still.
You'll have to have someone with a FaceTime stream right into the bathroom.
Yeah, I'd rather not do that. But yeah, there's a lot that's going on. So there's things to check out at this one. And please, if you're a Zoey Cannon fan, if you have ever wanted to see Zoey Cannon wrestle, she's going to need your help against Valerie Vermin. Valerie Vermin cheats. She makes sure she does everything she can to retain that championship, sometimes using her own boyfriend in the process, Samuel Thompson. So please, she needs your support. She needs your help to win that championship. I want you to be there when she's down, begging the crowd for that energy, and you give her that energy to help win that championship. Maybe then I wouldn't have Valerie Vermin forget that I tried to book her before and demand to be on the card.
Yep. We got someone in the crowd here. Woo, look at this. Yeah.
Yeah, Mikey. Zoey is incredible. I'm so happy that she was suggested by me, because it's nice to actually see somebody. I watch a lot of wrestling. People send me videos all the time, and I hate to say it, but so many people don't know how to make a promo video or send which match to send, and everything really looks the same. They do the same stuff that I absolutely hate. So knowing how good Zoey was before she was recommended to me is incredible. So she needs all the publicity she can get. Even after this event, make sure you find her out. Look for her YouTube page. Look for her Facebook page. Look for her Instagram or TikTok. Do you have a MySpace? I don't care. Whatever it is you have.
It's still out there.
Make sure you look for it and find it and follow this young woman, because she's incredible.
Yeah. I
said
and blushing right now too.
She's grown so much. It feels like a happy roast. It's not like so. It's like this is a happy roast for Zoey. We didn't want to tell you, but this is a happy roast. This is like a happy, not one of those Comedy Central mean roasts. It's like, as I said, I had her on the podcast last year. I knew there was something coming. I could hear the snowball bumbling in the distance, and I said she's gonna be doing something. And then I started watching videos at the end of the year, and she started doing a lot of things and being on shows like PPW, right? You were in PPW last year, right, Zoey? Weren't you in PPW?
I think so. I remember when I had debuted, there were so many shows that happened all at once that it was hard to keep track of everything. But I've been pretty busy since the debut. Yeah. Every weekend.
I can imagine. You must have like an interesting travel plan, because now you're doing this all the time now. Is it difficult to keep up with on your calendar on your phone or your like calendar old school on your desk?
Oh, I have an old school one. Yes and no. I actually, as soon as a company will put out their dates, whether it's for the next month or even some of them have it through all of next year, I write it down so I know, even if I was scheduled to appear somewhere, for example, in Riverton, New Jersey, and that company may have either canceled the show or they're rescheduling or something, I already know that there's another event happening in Riverton that same day, and then I can go visit them.
Awesome. Yeah, I do the old school thing too. I do Lawrence, do you do this same thing for like your events? Do you write it down on your calendar, or do you automatically remember that it's happening and you know?
I put everything in my phone when it's potential, and then I change it to whatever actually happens. And it's funny when you get a potential date, and then the building comes back with a date that's not what you asked for. Then you got to try to make that work. But like this actual event, I was talking to the building like just as a preliminary inquiry, and next thing you know, I had an event. They told me I had an event on this coming Saturday when we first started going. It was like, okay, thank you. Oh yeah, we're going to book you on this date. Let me talk to the preacher. Okay. By the way, it says the Sacred Heart Church, but it's actually a complex. It's actually a building in the same area that's a school, and that's where we're going to be. But the whole area is a Sacred Heart Church complex. It's a church and a school and other things too. I think there's a nunnery, I guess, or something. I don't know what that's called. It's not a brothel. I have no idea what to call it.
Oh no,
but it's where all the nuns are. So yeah,
nunnery.
Is it a nunnery? Okay, you can tell I'm.
It's a room full of nuns. Oh no.
You can tell. Well, I hope they don't bring the rulers out and beat up, because Patch. All my wrestlers are very well behaved except for Patch, and I could see Patch pissing off some nuns and then beating them with a ruler. I could just see it. I really can. In fact, I'll make sure to record it if it happens.
Has Patch ever seen the scene in
The Blues Brothers? Yes, I'm sure that's one of my absolute favorite movie. Yes, I'm sure when Sister Catherine beat the Blues Brothers with a ruler, it's going to be very similar, except it's going to be a whole bunch of nuns. It's going to look like when penguins attack.
You should, Zoe. Oh my God, you could have all the nuns go after Vermin.
Oh, there's not enough rosaries in that place for Valerie.
Just throw her into the crowd and just watch her just squirm. Get off me! No, I'm beautiful.
All right, she'll be on her phone at the altar.
She'll be like this. What? Where are we? We're getting married.
She'll be FaceTiming her boyfriend. She won't even know what's going on.
She'll be like,
or taking selfies. She loves her selfies. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, tell Valerie Joe says hi. Yeah.
No, but I
win.
Yeah, after she wins, right?
Be like, Joe says hi. Hit your. Oh my God! You do like almost the Sister Abigail, and you whisper in her ear and be like, Joe says hi. Wham!
Oh,
now that match is going to be amazing. I can't wait. I really can't wait, because I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad Valerie all of a sudden realized that there was an event and decided to get booked on it. Even though, because I'm looking very, very much looking forward to it, and because you know what too, it's going to be great. Is despite all of her picadillos, Valerie is one of the most watched people on our YouTube page, and make sure to check out our YouTube page, like, comment, subscribe, and share, please, every single one of the videos. But and by the way, these matches will eventually show up on the YouTube too. But she is one of the most watched people, and she has some of the most negative comments that I have to delete. Because after people see her, they just do not like her. I have to delete some of the stuff because I don't want to get thrown off of YouTube. They call her some words that I may ask them, do you kiss your mom with that mouth?
Jeez. That's so funny.
Yeah. She is very good at being very bad, I guess is the best way to say it.
She's a good bad girl?
No, she is no good. She's just her, and that's her. Yeah, she is. The fans, there's a reason that they jeer and yell and scream and curse, and they're in a church right now. I hope they keep their language at a safe level. But yeah, there's a reason they don't like Valerie Vermin, and I know they're going to love Zoey Cannon.
I know it's going to be fun. Can't wait. So, do you guys have any like merch or like T-shirts where anybody could pick up a shirt?
I do have a T-shirt through Amazon. I am working on new merchandise. We've actually have them in running because our main building where I've ran for years got sold out from the gym that we were running, and it turned into a warehouse and a pot dispensary.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that I was running there. That was my main location that I was running. So this not only is this event, at a new location and important, so we can keep running here. I'm looking for regular places to run again. So I'm basically, even though DAWG's been around since 2010, we haven't run since last year at a public facility, and then this year it's only been in private events for like Rowan University and the Rowan College of Burlington County and anything like that. So this is the first public event where anybody can come buy a ticket and come see Zoey or Patch or former WWE superstar Tank Tolan or Breaker Morant, the DAWG champion, or Goldie, the World Wrestling Grand Prix champion, or any of the wrestlers live and in person. And we're really hoping that this becomes like a regular haunt for us, so we can come back and show everybody in Riverton, New Jersey, what Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators brings to the wrestling world.
So if you want to, we could talk about the other matches that are going to be happening that night. I wish you gave me the main poster, and I was going to ask again, hey, can you kind of get more graphics for the show? But then I was like, we'll just talk about it. We don't have to show a graphic.
Yeah, believe it or not, I have very little time between work and going to school for my doctorate in business and running a professional wrestling promotion. So it's lucky we can get a poster out in time. Honestly, it's like I've had this out for a while, but I don't make other match graphics because I just really don't have the time to do it. I spend that time instead going out, putting the feet to the ground and posters up and on foam poles and everything else we can do.
Yeah, it's so crazy to think, as you said, a poster. As I said, where I live in the Poconos, if you see a poster, it's a very big rarity, because I live near Port Jervis, New York, and I haven't seen a wrestling poster in Port Jervis High School in a while. And Delaware Valley, they banned wrestling shows there because a small venue, small promotion accidentally scratched the gym floor.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah, they banned it.
That's terrible.
It makes me sad because I have not been able to go to a local wrestling show since before I was a podcaster.
Well, make the trip down
tomorrow.
Yeah, make the trip down to Riverton, New Jersey. It's worth the ride. Mm-hmm. If you do not enjoy yourself, I'm so confident that you'll enjoy yourself. If you do not, I'll give you your money back.
If I didn't have to work and my parents didn't have plans, I would be there in a heartbeat, Zoe.
Tell your parents to change plans and all of them come to this DAWG event on Saturday night, September 28th at the Sacred Heart Church in Riverton, New Jersey.
If you get tickets, you get a free poster.
Yeah.
And our posters are nice. We're not like a flyer or something you print out at Staples. Our posters are very nice.
Poster does.
And by the way, they're very large and very good quality. These are things you're suitable for framing. Make sure you get them autographed because there's a lot of great wrestling talent and Daredevil Dave Dahl on the card. So make sure you get them autographed and signed and see this amazing night of wrestling action. And of course, see Zoey. She would have been on the poster if Valerie did let me know that, that she was okay to be booked. But, what happens?
Should have just put Valerie, like a picture of Valerie in the corner by the letters Pro Wrestling, and then have a big picture of Zoey in the middle. It's like,
again, when the champion, I will be on the poster.
It's true.
Giant picture. A giant picture of Zoey and just a tiny. You should have a picture of you with your foot up, and then and then Valerie's under your foot. Splat. Ew! I stepped on something.
The former champion.
Ew! I can see the promo. Ew! I stepped in something pink. Ew! What was that? Who put Play-Doh on the ground?
Oh, I am so excited to face Val again.
Have you faced her before?
I have. I have worked against her and I've worked alongside her, but not with her for the same match. So we've known each other for well over a year. So I kind of have an idea of the little tricks that she has, but you know Val, she pulls things out of thin air and suddenly
Yes.
she's winning again. So
Here's
we'll
one
see
thing.
what happens.
Here's one credit I will definitely give to Valerie. People think she's a dumb blonde, and that's the image she portrays. She is incredibly intelligent and
She is
devious.
so smart.
Yeah.
So smart.
Sometimes I don't even think she knows she's intelligent. She's just, I think she knows she's intelligent. I don't think she knows how intelligent she is. But
I think she knows she's intelligent, but she knows she's so much prettier, and that's kind of where she focuses.
Yes, that is. I've noticed that she is. Make sure she tells everybody, even in the locker room, "Hi, my name is Valerie Vermin. I'm prettier than you. Hi, I'm so pretty. My name is Valerie Vermin." She literally introduces herself that way.
Yeah,
That is Val.
Vermin. The name says it all, Vermin.
Yes.
Yeah,
Do you want to talk about?
Thinking about that, Zoe? Joe Panther said Vermin. Specify, put on the sides Vermin. You know what a vermin is?
A rat.
Yeah, a rat. See,
Yeah.
a rat. I'm a panther. I don't like rats. I'll eat food.
You know what? There's never been rats around professional wrestling, so that's probably a good thing.
The name she hides about all this pretty stuff. Man, I would love to see her come in the crowd. How dare you call me a mouse?
I think it's the hairspray that gets to her. If I had to put my finger on it, I think it's the hairspray. I think she sprays a little bit too much, and then it starts to get breathed in.
The fumes definitely get to her.
Mm-hmm.
I think she needs to work with back in the 80s, I could see her totally working with someone like Rick Rude, or I could see her working with Rick the Model Martel, because her character fits with the Model Martel kind of like arrogance. She would have one of those puff thing that blinds the wrestlers so they can't see. Like, she don't get, oh God, I'm giving her ideas. No, no, she's gonna cheat.
Again, I suggest if you're into old school professional wrestling and learning about the history of the business, go look up Eddie Gilbert and Missy Hyatt in the UWF and in Memphis wrestling. And you will see the similarities to Missy and Valerie. And it's almost uncanny. It's like, I wonder if Missy's secretly her mother.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, that's how much the similarities are, birth and personality and the aesthetic and the overall presentation. So, and if you go watch it, you will see that while just like Valerie, Missy came across as a dumb blonde, she was so smart and devious. And I think if besides watching tapes on Valerie Vermin, watch some stuff, tapes, I'm really aging myself, but watch some stuff on YouTube of Missy Hyatt, and you'll probably be able to get some more things that maybe Valerie hasn't yet to think of.
It's so funny because you said Missy Hyatt. Me and my buddy, we went to a comic book shop and we got the old WCW cards for like $1.
Mm-hmm.
And she was in one of the deck of cards that I got. Me and my friend were trading, and he's like, "Who you want? You want that female wrestler?" I'm like, I'm not giving you Missy Hyatt. What are you, nuts? That card's worth something. Kept it in nice condition and everything. I'm like, "Ooh, this is gonna be worth something." It's Missy Hyatt. It's a WCW card of Missy, and then can't find.
Unfortunately, though, by the time she was in WCW at that era, she was a character of herself and not there where she truly was showing how good she was. People thought of her more as what she was in WCW at that era. But if you watch her early stuff, you can see she was one of the first valets in the professional wrestling world, and she made a lot of money catfighting against Sunshine and having mixed matches and help setting the Dallas wrestling territory on fire again after the Freebirds already did so. And just watching her and Sunshine, and then later in the UWF against Dark Journey and Sunshine, it was amazing watching what she can do and how much money and she drew and how intelligent she was in body position and where to put herself. She wasn't a classic wrestler. She wasn't a wrestler at all. She wouldn't be, I wouldn't call her a woman wrestler, but she knew how to make the most money with every talent she had. And she did so for any company she worked for, especially in that time period.
So yeah, it's just something cool to help all, like a promotion like you guys. So like, where do you see your guys going? I know this show, I really hope that you guys sell out. So is there any other shows planned for DAWG after this event yet? And if so,
No, because DAWG doesn't run shows. DAWG runs events, but there is another event after this one on Friday night, October 18th at the Pennsville Middle School, located at 103. No, I'm sorry, located at 4 William Penn Avenue in Pennsville, New Jersey. That's a charity event for the Foundation for the Future. And that one's going to be really good. But make sure you come to this one, because what happens at this event is going to have repercussions to what happens at that. So you want to see, it's kind of like you don't want to see Avengers 2 before seeing Avengers 1. So make sure you assemble to the Sacred Heart Church this Saturday and check out the first edition of the Avengers before you get to see the second event, Avengers type event in 2 weeks at the Pennsville Middle School.
Awesome. Zoey, Lawrence, I want to thank you both for coming on the podcast. I want to wish you nothing but the best of luck in your match against Valerie Berman.
Thank you.
I hope you win. I have a feeling you're gonna, because you're awesome and you're just so good. And it's like, oh my God, I can see the clips now. Joe is sucking up not sucking up. This is just showing my love and respect.
Cheering on.
Cheering me on. Showing you respect, because I respect you, Zoey. I know you're doing big things, and I want to have you back on next year again, so we can, or whenever DAWG wants to do another spotlight here on Dudes at Ringside. You guys are welcome back, whatever you want. Lawrence, Zoey, I'm Joe Panther III.
I'm Zoey Cannon.
And I'm Dr. Lawrence Zirconium, owner of Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators.
And we will catch you in the next one, and definitely show up at the show.
Event.